Brought to you by Hyundai. Experience the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe.
Greetings and welcome to the official Lost podcast hosted by ABC.com. This, sad to say, is the ultimate podcast of 2006, and though we're a little bit later than anticipated, we're back with executive producers Damon Lindelof and Carlton Hughes to rehash the episode I Do. Or at this point, I did, and I liked it. But fear not, Lost will be back in February with a batch of all new shiny episodes for you to unwrap. And until then, speaking of unwrapping in the holidays, feel free to enjoy episodes of Lost on ABC.com while sitting around a fire sipping hot chocolate made from melted Apollo bars. Here now are your formerly lost, but now they're found, Pod Squad.
All right, and welcome to another podcast. I'm Carlton Hughes.
I'm Damon Lindelof.
And we're here, very strangely, a long time after Lost has aired, and a long time before it will air again, to talk about Lost.
We didn't say hello to each other. Normally we say...
Hi, Damon.
Hello, Carlton.
I'm sorry, that was
We
rude
just
of me,
got
wasn't
right
it?
into it. It's just like, no small talk, just right into the podcast.
It is sad when, you get to that point where you start taking each other for granted.
Well, we don't even really see each other other than coming together for these podcasts. We're not allowed to make eye contact, and the restraining order
The
has
court
been
order
somewhat
is
limited.
very specific.
So
anyway, well, here we are, and we're going to finally, after quite a lengthy wait, rehash I Do, which was our fall season finale.
yes,
And,
so this is the ultimate podcast as opposed to the penultimate podcast from last time.
This is the last podcast you will have to endure in 2006.
And then there will be a new one for 2007, I suppose.
At least one.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, I can tell. You're practically jumping out of your chair.
So, I do. It feels
Thank
like
you.
it was so
oh my
long
God,
ago.
that's great.
Well,
We'll have to go to Canada, though.
Not really.
Well, if you want it to be legal.
I'm like Kate. I don't... I'm looking for some sort of marriage segue. Help me out here.
Okay, let's talk about Kate's marriage.
Yeah, great.
How did you come to cast Nathan Fillion as Kevin? Is this a nod out there to all the Firefly fans?
Well, it's not a nod to the Firefly fans as much as it is an acknowledgement that Nathan is an awesome actor who we really loved in Firefly, and we're big sort of Whedon fans over here, and both in that series and in the movie Serenity. I think Nathan's, a really affable, awesome actor, and looking for someone to believe that Kate had actually married, settled down with, and you really only have those 5 scenes with them together. We needed somebody really good and kind of fun and intelligent, and he was just all those things. So we offered him the part, and he was very nice, and he came in and met with us and took it.
Yeah, he was great. We really were happy with how that worked out, and he was also great in Firefly. That was I guess it wasn't really a shout out, but certainly his work in that show influenced our choice of hiring him.
Yes, it gives us that geek cred that we always strive for.
You already have a lot of geek cred, though.
Yeah, but you can never have too much geek cred, I think.
Yeah.
Can you?
Well, probably.
Well, we're certainly flirting with whatever that limitation may be.
Right at this moment. Gotta get the rust out of this podcast here.
It is. It's a little rough, We gotta kind of get some energy.
Exactly. Well, we should be doing them every week, even if we have nothing to talk about.
We're actually...
We were going to be doing Daybreak podcast. That was going to be the plan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That would probably not go down too well.
It probably wouldn't. But that's
because I don't really know what's going on in Daybreak.
I'm actually loving Daybreak right now, to be completely honest with you.
It's kind of a shame that more people aren't watching it. It's very hard if you have a serialized show and people don't actually get hooked in.
It's depressing because you get hooked in, and then it's like they're not going to, he's going to... Taye Diggs, my fear is that he'll never get out of that day.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
It is sad. But let's talk about Kate hooking up with Sawyer.
Good.
Just for a segue.
Sure. I'd love to.
I mean, I know you want to talk about Taye Diggs, but what do you think? Was this actually the definitive choice?
People keep asking me that, and it's...
Was this the definitive choice?
How how much
Was
clearer...
this choice definitive?
How much clearer could you be about her choice? I mean, who's watching it and going, I'm not sure that she picked Sawyer. I think maybe she went with Jack there.
And yet-
She's had sex with him.
And yet people actually do, I think certain people maybe just don't value the act of sex as being that important.
I don't even know how I could possibly respond to that in any sort of PG-13 fashion. But I will say that when you are curled up naked on someone's chest, as I have been on Carlton's on several occasions,
I knew that was coming.
You have made your choice.
Well, and I thank you for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate your commitment to me.
But I think it'll be interesting to see sort of where Kate and Sawyer go
Satan?
next. Satan Coyer?
Wow.
Wow.
Satan. When is Satan coming into the show?
They call them Skate, Kate and Sawyer.
Right.
And then the other ones are Skack? No. What is
Jake.
Sawyer and Jack? I don't know. Sack?
The Jaders and the
Jake.
Skaters.
The Jaders
Thank
and
you,
the Skaters.
Chris. We'd like to do a little shout out to Chris, our wonderful producer, who's actually, we have our own mics today, which is fantastic. Normally we've had to share a mic.
Yeah,
but
thanks to the people at Hyundai and American Express, we now have a second microphone.
that's fantastic.
We have doubled our production budget.
Yeah. And a jar of chocolate-covered espresso beans from Trader Vic's.
Don't talk about the jar.
Okay.
So we have Jack. He saw Kate and Sawyer together. That's obviously upset him, and that prompted him to, well, in the moment we thought,
Blow her off.
yeah, be very angry and say, I'm out for myself, and all I want to do is get off the island. But it turns out at the end of the episode, he has sort of made this bold, heroic maneuver, jeopardizing his own life in order to free Kate and Sawyer. So, that's either incredibly noble or incredibly stupid. Only time will tell.
I'm going to go with noble.
I'm going to go with stupid.
Okay. Well, that
We'll
pretty
see.
much...
We'll see
That's
who's
been
right.
That's been helpful in clarifying things for the audience, hasn't it?
Unfortunately for Jack, though, he doesn't know that they're on an island.
No, he doesn't.
So that's going to be tricky.
It's going to be a little tricky, but I think it's surmountable.
I hope it is.
That's awesome.
Because I'll be honest with you, Carlton, I'm getting a little bit sick of being on that island with the others.
You and the rest of America, my friend. But, we are getting back to the beach. We promise you we are getting back to the beach very soon. But I think when you look back at Season 3 in its totality, this first 6 episodes will be more palatable. I mean, it's hard when it stands alone in the fall, and most of it is focused on what's going on with Sawyer and Kate and Jack and the others. And we are legitimately missing some of our beach folk. But we have some good beach folk stories that are coming up. And I think in the end, it'll all make sense why we did this 6-episode block and why the story sort of had to start where it did.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you think about Season 2 in the same way, we started much the same way with the tail section, those first 7 episodes. We spent a lot of time with Ana Lucia and Echo and Libby, and the audience didn't really like them much either. But over time, we shot them all.
They're all dead, so that just goes to prove what?
I don't know. I don't know what it proves.
Could somebody get Damon a coffee?
I could really use one. Sorry.
All right, so let's talk about Locke's discovery of the phrase, lift up your eyes and look north, John 3:05, which was on Echo's stick during the funeral. Is this a sign Locke was looking for?
I guess Locke was looking for some reason behind why Echo was killed, because, he goes, he sits in his sweat lodge, the island tells him that he has to go get Echo, so he goes and gets Echo, and, what is the end result of that is that Echo gets killed by the monster, so Locke is sort of scratching his head, so he's looking for some purpose behind all of this, and now he sort of has this cryptic message, and it doesn't mean anything at all. He's just going to go back to the beach and
I think it
make
does.
a sandcastle.
I'm thinking that there's something that's going to happen with that stick and that message, and that it's going to propel Locke on a mission.
You're never going to answer that mystery, are you?
We are.
Really?
We are. We're getting.
Because I have to be honest with you.
Answers are coming.
I have to be honest with you, Carlton. I'm starting to be a little dubious that the answers are ever coming.
Well, don't be dubious.
Are we going to find out what's going on with Desmond?
Yes, we are.
Are we going to find out?
Like the second or third episode back.
Are we going to find out if Ben was lying about that island being like Alcatraz?
Yes, we are.
Are we going to see Rousseau?
Yes, we are.
Wow. I stand corrected.
All right.
All right.
I mean, there's a lot going on. Are we going to find out something about the Dharma Initiative and the others?
Yes, I think we are. Well, I'm not entirely convinced that the Dharma Initiative and the others aren't one and the same. Are we going to find that out?
I think we are.
Wow. But we're going to find out in like 3 years, right?
No, we're going to find out this year.
This year?
Coming soon.
Wow.
In the next batch of episodes.
By batch, do you mean like 40?
40. No.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
I only mean like
We both went to
5.
40.
We went
That's
to 40.
good.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
No, right now to sort of lift the curtain a little, we are in the midst of
Don't
writing
lift the
our
curtain that much. Whoa.
hey, writing our 13th episode of the show, but we're plotted out through the end of the season. So, we're only, 7 scripts ahead of you guys, so don't feel too bad.
And by season we mean episode 15.
That's right.
No, we have a good plan for the rest of the season, and some interesting twists and turns, and actually some fairly definitive answers to some of these questions.
Thank God.
Speaking of questions,
Yes.
well, first of all, do we want to prehash about Not in Portland? What does that title mean?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. And part 2 of season 3. What do you think? What?
I think we just did. I think
Yeah,
there was
we
a
kinda
fair
did,
amount of
yeah.
prehashing just now.
That was pretty good. Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll definitely see what happened to that surgery. Kate and Sawyer, do they escape? Does Kate run?
I think she does. I mean,
Okay.
it would be sort of lame if she's like, you know what, Jack, I'm just going to stand here in my cage.
Yeah, that would not be good.
I would like to see them run.
Excellent. Well, I'd love to ask you some questions, Damon.
I would love
'cause I'm
to.
feeling like we're ready for that.
Do it.
Okay, here we go.
Now.
This is an important question for the producers from Irish Lost Fan 2006. Here's the question. Did Kate do something illegal? Is she running from the law? Does she really like tacos, or are you just putting us on? And further, we need more Kate flashbacks so we can find out what is going on in her life. Please make episodes 7 through 11 all about Kate and her backstory. I need to see her running away from the law more.
Wow. I don't even know where to start. I guess buy season 1 and season 2 on DVD would be a good place to start, because obviously we've done many stories already with Kate where she's doing precisely that.
I guess if you blow your father up, that might not be an illegal act as much as having
Maybe-
sex with someone doesn't mean you're necessarily committed to them.
Well, you did say this question is from Ireland, right?
Well, I said it's from an Irish Lost fan. It could be an Irish-American Lost fan.
Well, it's apparently blowing patricide via explosive is not illegal in Ireland. So,
Okay,
yeah, Kate blew her father up. She even mentions that in the in I Do, and she's on the run. And I think that was the 6th Kate flashback that we've done on the show so far.
It was up there.
So, if for more of Kate running, you can refer to episode 3 of season 1, which is called Tabula Rasa, and then
And there'll be-
whatever the case may be was episode 11, and then
There's a great episode when she's on the run in the zombie season.
oh yeah, that'll be really awesome.
It's fantastic. She runs faster than any zombie in any other zombie movie ever.
She is a zombie though. She's not running from the zombies.
No, but as a zombie
Right.
running, she is very fast.
Yes.
Faster than Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 3.
Who do you think Zombie Kate would choose? Zombie Sawyer or Zombie Jack?
I think, when she's a zombie, she's actually going to go for Zombie Desmond.
Whose brains will Zombie Kate eat? That's what I want to
Yeah,
know.
that's awesome.
All right, I have a question.
You forgot to ask, does she really like tacos?
That was just to put on. She can't
Okay.
do. She says I can't do taco night.
Okay.
So that
Yeah, she
really
really
is the
can't.
straw that broke the
No
camel's
tacos.
back. I,
She's from
however,
Canada, too.
love tacos.
Yeah.
Here's the question: do you want us to become Christians? By Buscama. This is a multi-tiered question here, Carlton.
I'll answer the first part is yes.
Why is there so many? Why is there so many talking about religion in Lost? And why is there a focus in Christianity? Do the people who make Lost and produce the show want to make people convert to Christianity? The last episode was mainly about religion. Even Ben asked, "Do you believe in God?" By the way, only Christians believe in God. If you want Lost to be an international success, you need to avoid religion. By the way, I like the show because it does always make me think. Peace.
Wow.
So,
In terms
defend
of questions-
yourself.
I don't even know where to start. Maybe I should start by saying, as a person who is Jewish, do you believe in God?
I do.
So I think that kind of takes care of that. That swipes away one aspect.
Rumor
of it.
has it that also that also Muslims believe in God. They just have a different name for him
Correct.
or her.
And I would say that, many other religions also kind of believe in God in one shape or form.
Right.
So Catholicism, yeah, there's a fair amount of Catholicism in the show, but
we had a priest on the show.
We had a priest on the show, and I think the priest's demise, Mr. Echo's demise, was very much wrapped up in his sort of sense of spirituality, which was very informed by his Catholicism. And we also, I think the Bible is a big source of inspiration for us. It's a pretty popular book.
By inspiration, you mean we rip it off at every possible opportunity?
Absolutely, exactly. Like I said, it's a pretty popular piece of work.
Excellent. Well, we think that the show is spiritual and, and lives in a spiritual space. And, Lost has always been more of, it's not just that they're lost on an island, but they're also sort of lost in their own lives. And we're not preaching or promising, or trying to convert anybody, but we do like the idea that, these people are all connected, that there is sort of a sense of, higher power at work, and we try not to call it anything, but obviously the characters see it through the prism of what their own experience is, and if they were Christians or Catholics or Jews or Muslims, then, in the same, we've seen Saeed pray, for example, in the finale of last year. He
Right.
has his prayer rug out, and when he's on the boat before he goes to war with the others. So, we just like that idea. We're not trying to make any sort of grandiose statements.
Not about a specific religion, but just the idea that spirituality is an important part of human existence.
Wow.
There you go.
I just wanted to ask a hard-hitting question because we're always so goofy.
Okay, well here's a hard-hitting question from B Marsh 3286.
Nice.
Is anyone sure Lost will return for season 4?
Sure?
Yes.
I don't know. I think that there's always a realm of possibility that we make such catastrophically bad creative choices in the next 16 episodes that everybody who watches the show stops watching the show. But
That's not too likely.
one would hope that we don't do that.
No, I think there will be. You're pretty safe to assume there's going to be a season 4 of Lost.
At least.
At the very least, there will be a season 4 of
And
Lost.
if there isn't a season 4, how can we ever get to season 7, the zombie season?
Exactly. Now, so here's my real question, which
Please.
is from Laura Lee G128. That other one wasn't even actually a
It's
question.
just a fake question.
It was just a question I had
Confirmation question.
myself. I love your show, but more and more lately, you guys are insulting our intelligence. A second island? So I guess when Saeed, Jin, and Sun sailed around the island to see where Jack, Michael, and Kate et al. Were going, they just happened to miss seeing this other island? Or when Jin, Sawyer, and Michael sailed off at the end of season 1, I guess they didn't get far enough away to spot the second island? Or when Shannon died and Saeed went off and found the French lady? Any of this ringing a bell? Shall I go on disproving that a second island can even exist? I hope that this will be...
Please.
I hope this will be Ben fooling Sawyer somehow, because that would be better than thinking you can insult our intelligence.
Wow. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but at the same time, I would argue that the island that we've been on from the very beginning is very large, and it would, if you know anything at all about geography, it is wildly possible to sail 3/4 of the way around our island without ever seeing a
Tiny little island, only 2 miles offshore, just like the size of Alcatraz.
That's right. That's like saying from anywhere in the California coastline you can see Alcatraz, which in fact is ridiculous.
Right. Or even Santa Catalina, which is a huge island 26 miles offshore. You can only see it in a very limited, from a limited range.
So to answer the one question that you did have in there, yes, I would like you to go on disproving the existence of that island. And if you can do it before the season premiere, we'll have to do some radical rewriting. Because there is, in fact, a smaller island off the coast of our main island.
It does really exist. And we like that island.
We like it a lot.
As a matter of fact, I like to call it Damonville.
Carlton has a picture of that island in his wallet.
I had a picture of Damon, but I changed it for a picture of Damonville, the island.
Thank God. Carlton, the next question is very long, and there are 4 parts to it. I've selected the 2 that I like the most.
Okay.
You guys are charismatic geniuses is the subject heading by Future Desmond.
Can we just stop there?
If it were Future Desmond.
Okay.
He sent this from the future, I guess. I never thought I'd write in, but I miss your podcast so much I thought I'd make a plea for its return and ask a few questions while I'm at it. Question number 1. When Kate and Sawyer were getting it on, I noticed perfectly shaved pits on Kate. Now, I've lived in circumstances similar to them, and the armpit bush does grow. why didn't we go for realism? Or better yet, where's Kate's armpit hair?
Wow, busted. I mean, I guess I'd like to know about the cage that this person was living in.
Similar
That's really what I want to know.
circumstances.
Wow, like living in a polar bear cage. That's fantastic.
Or I like where is it? Like the idea that, the others have it in a box somewhere.
Well,
that it's a mystery. There's a hatch yet to be discovered that has Kate's armpit hair.
Now, assuming you can clone from someone's DNA, could you clone someone from their armpit hair?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
They'd be very stinky, though.
That's like season 8. There's just the armpit hair clone versions that come after, and they wipe out the zombies.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's good.
I would say that there is a certain creative license we take in terms of the character's hygiene on the show. I don't think everybody wants to see the episode where like Sawyer is picking fleas off of Kate. Although you do. I know.
What?
I know. That's a good episode. But
we put this in the same category of people who ask, why don't we ever see Jack Bauer go to the bathroom on 24 if the show is told in real time? And the answer is, because you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You think you do, but you don't.
I know. My God. What happens if he actually had, some like irritable bowel syndrome? I mean, that would be like 4 episodes. They just knock those right off.
What do you mean, if? So here's part 2 that I
Oh
wanted
my
to
God,
ask you.
there's more? I'm
No,
sorry.
well, you can only imagine the ones that I'm leaving out. Also, what happened last season with the cutting of the love scene between Rose and Bernard? I would have loved to seen them get it on. Is the network ageist, racist, or was it really XXX rated?
That is maybe the greatest question.
It's right up there.
It's right up there. That scene is available on the Swedish DVDs. You have to actually mail order those. And if you speak to Chris, our producer, he can get you an address in Stockholm.
You actually have a warrant out for your arrest in the state of Minnesota, I believe, for writing that scene. You broke some laws there. I don't know how.
There were, exactly. So every time I go to the Mall of America now, I have to disguise myself as Javi.
Also, Future Desmond's mother and Future Desmond are concerned that Sun and Jin have not reappeared because we show that Saeed gets back and we didn't show Sun and Jin. So
they're fine.
We apologize
Don't worry.
for that.
They're okay.
At least one of them is perfectly fine.
They're both fine.
The other one may or may not be perfectly
They're
fine.
both totally excellent.
All right.
And they're happy. And they're on the beach. And they're doing
what Sun and Jin
Pilates.
do.
Anyway,
You just say Pilates? Is that like when you're stretching and drinking a frothy coffee
It's
beverage?
like a latte that you have while you're
You
exercising.
mean like Pilates?
And by the way, speaking of the sex cage, I just need to ask you part of this question that's under the title. Are we that dumb?
No.
Posted by Gil Videla.
There seems to be a recurring theme.
There does seem to be. Our IQ seems to have dropped
Yes.
very perceptibly since our last podcast. Not only was that sex scene ridiculous, the cage Kate and Sawyer effed in was not at the same cage that Sawyer was locked up in. Once the clothes came off, did you see how much bigger and more roomy that cage was? How did the water hole bear feeding machinery disappear all of a sudden so they had enough room to roll around? And why all of a sudden did these two's hormones get excited? Certainly there's been plenty of opportunities prior to coming to Island 2 for these two to get it on, at least in a cleaner environment.
Wow. First off, Kate and Sawyer specifically reserved the honeymoon cage. So that explains the extra added space and the release of the machinery. No, I'll be honest with you. We have the dailies. They shot that scene in exactly the same
cage.
set that Sawyer's been in all season.
That's
and
right.
we apologize that you think, again, that we are insulting your intelligence, but all we can do is say that we didn't.
Okay,
For real.
that's good.
All right, on a more serious tip, Carlton, my final question of the final podcast. Will the real leader of the others please stand up? By Giscard 31271. 190 posts in the last 90 days. That's impressive. D and C. My question is, when will you show us who the leader of the others really is? Or is Ben really the leader? Ben mentioned another man in Season 2, so I'm really wondering when and who.
Wow. Well, that's a very good question, and I think a very perceptive question, and I think it's one that we can't really answer. I mean, obviously there's been mention of a guy named Jacob in Jacob's List, and For those of you who actually like the Bible references, you might know that Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, and that Benjamin is his youngest son. So
you and your religion again. Enough.
Do you think that actually the 12 tribes of Israel are actually living on the island and they're all governed by Jacob?
I think that are you reading me somebody's question right now?
That actually is part of a question. That part is part of a question.
So you're dodging right now. You're not going to say Ben isn't the leader. You're not going to say there's another leader. You're just saying this Jacob character is very interesting. We should keep our eyes peeled.
I think that would be a very good way to say it, Damon, and I don't think I could say it any better than you just did say it. Keeping my eyes peeled. Yes. I will keep my eyes peeled for this Jacob fellow and find out what his relationship is. I thought you said you were going to say it better. Now I'm nervous. It's hard. I'm feeling very self-conscious about how I talk about Jacob.
Oh, hey, before I forget, over on my bulletin board is written on a piece of paper, shout out for Shane Stoltz. And I always look at it and I say, why did I write that? What is that doing there? And then I remembered a couple days ago, you and I were walking to lunch.
Oh,
and a young man came up to us and said, hey, he recognized us. It was the most exciting thing ever.
I know. We're like on the Disney lot, and people usually basically push us off the sidewalk going from here to the commissary.
But he said, I listened to your guys' podcast, and I love it.
Yeah,
so, Shane, if you're still listening, we love you. And
thank you.
Here's your shout-out, Shane Stoltz.
Shout out!
Is there a shout-out? Is there
a
shout-out music?
I think Chris's ears were just damaged there.
It's the new microphones.
Badly. Okay, can I ask you one final question? This is a pretty easy one for you.
I suppose.
Ben, Linus, Michael Emerson. What a great character. I really do love to hate him. I hope he will be around for a long, long time. Emerson, the guy who plays him, keeps me glued to the tube. Excellent. This was one for the Bad Guy Hall of Fame. You're not going to let him die on that operating table, are you, Damon?
No.
Okay.
He will, however, die in a tragic fishing accident 2 episodes from now.
That would be the very definition of irony.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we are happy to be back. Sorry the gears were a little rusty today. But
we're only back long enough to
say goodbye to go away again. But, maybe we'll pop out with another podcast at some point here and kind of we can prehash episodes that we're writing. Or not.
I suppose we could.
Yeah, or we could talk about Daybreak again.
I like talking about Daybreak.
Or Heroes.
I love Heroes.
Or Studio 60s.
Also love.
30 Rock.
Don't watch.
Jericho.
Don't watch.
Shark.
Don't watch.
Anything else? Me and the Boys.
No. I hear it's good, though.
Reruns of Sex and the City.
Yes. Love it.
Howard Stern.
Every morning.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, guys.
Godspeed. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all those.
Happy Hanukkah.
To all those who are trying to convert.
And, Merry Christmas. Exactly.
And Happy Hanukkah. And
we love you guys, and we will see you in the new year.
Ho, ho, ho.
Bye.
You're hearing the sound of America's most advanced assembly plant. But Honda and Toyota are only hearing footsteps. Because right here, Hyundai is building a better SUV. The all-new feature-packed Santa Fe. With standard safety features like electronic stability control and 6 airbags. And the protection of America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. All for thousands less. The all-new fuel-efficient Santa Fe. Only at Hyundai.
See dealer for limited warranty details. Safety belt should always be worn.